Did you know an SMS is read within 3 minutes of delivery? And that SMS is still the #1 business communication tool? Let Agility help you connect with your customers with a cheap and effective SMS solution. As one of Australia's top business SMS providers, Agility helps you and your business deliver your message, track campaign success, and drive customer action. Visit agility.com.au or call 1300 764 451 and chat to Peter and his team to see how SMS can help your business. Agility, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast. There's no Ouzo Talk without a bottle of Ouzo, which is why we love the Greek Providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets to unique spirits, earthy herbs and memorable wines. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au to see their amazing range. The Greek Providor, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
Sound is.
Nick Athanasiou, we're reaching new heights today because we have someone who is probably the most high-ranking official actually in the room with us today. We've had some big guests, but a lot of them haven't actually been in the room with us.
We have, Tom. Look, we must be doing something right, but look, what is it with me and you and diplomats?
I wish some of it would rub off onto us, honestly. We could all use with a little bit of diplomatic skills, couldn't we?
Definitely, especially us, mate. But we got better people than us that can do it for us.
Exactly, and we've been very lucky over the course of a few seasons now, because we've been lucky enough to have Consul General Yannis Malikoudis, who is in the room with us today, but in a silent capacity. But also, we've had Australian Ambassador to Greece, Alison Duncan, who we did interview remotely, as we said, but also, the likes of Admiral James Stavridis, who was the former head of NATO. These are really high-ranking officials. But we're very proud to say that we have the ambassador of Greece to Australia in the room with us today. He is the non-resident ambassador to New Zealand as well, the Republic of Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, Kiribati, Nauru, Samoa, and Tonga. His Excellency Ambassador Stavros Venizelos, welcome to Ouzo Talk.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Great to have you here.
It is an absolute honour to have you here. And I have to say, some of these other countries that we're talking about here, so the Solomon Islands, Kiribati and whatnot, I've actually recently met the High Commissioners and the Prime Minister recently during the course of my job. So this is
here in Sydney.
The Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands was in Brisbane. So
there you go,
mate. We're operating in very different circles nowadays.
We are. Your day job, your hobby on the podcast, Tom.
I know.
Something you got to tell me or what?
We should run for office.
I had the honor to meet them all in the Pacific Islands Forum,
yes,
which took place on Tonga Island,
right,
some weeks ago.
How did you find that? I mean, that is a very different environment to Greece and Australia. What was that like?
That's true. It was a unique experience, I would say. The place there, I understood what is the real meaning of the word resilience.
Yes.
And how we should build resilience for the Pacific Islands. A small country with limited resources, the weather can be very inclement.
Yes.
The day I arrived, there was already a volcano eruption.
Oh, wow.
In the sea, and
to welcome you.
And floodings. The communications were interrupted, but then followed. Nevertheless, the atmosphere was great. It was a national effort of the Tongans to make everything work perfectly, and they did. There were more than 1,000 people on the island discussing about the future of our planet.
Yes.
As the Secretary General of the United Nations mentioned, Mr. Guterres, if we save the Pacific, we save the world.
Yeah, and I mean it's important to note as well. Some of these islands, I think it was Kiribati, is actually under threat of being
submerged.
Yes,
that's true. Tuvalu is the first one.
Yes,
but also the other islands, yes, as well.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, it has to be said. I mean, I've had a little bit to do with these with these nations recently, and the culture is unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, the people.
Yes, extremely interesting and so diverse. It is a richness that the Australians mainly, but all the world must value and preserve.
Absolutely. Well, look, we're going to be talking about the relationship between Greece and Australia today, obviously, because that's where we are. That we are Greek-Australian, obviously, Nick. So should we get into the episode properly, Nick? What do you think?
I think so, mate. I think it's time to have a drink.
Wonderful. Here we go. Yamas.
Cheers.
Yamas.
Yamas.
Yamas, gentlemen.
Now, the gentlemen are not drinking, it has to be said, but we will drink for you.
All right.
Well, we're going to be very well behaved on this episode. Let's be clear about that. So, Nick, what are we drinking?
We're back to the 35N Ouzo, straight from Crete. Thanks to the Greek Providore. They're done an amazing job. I think we talk about it every week. Summer is in Australia. We're back to the Ouzo. We've said goodbye to Tipidor. So it's a beautiful drop. Light and vibrant. We always go on about how good it is, but we got a few more bottles to go through. So
we do.
I'm very happy with it.
I have to taste it sometime.
Absolutely.
You will. It's a great drop.
We'll have to get you in contact with the people that bring it out. So the GreekProvidore.com.au. Thank you so much, Crystal, for supporting the podcast.
And would you believe we've got a new sponsor on board, Tom?
We do. Mate, tell us about it. What do we got?
Well, Agility, SMS communications for business solutions provider. So they've got companies like Maya, Anytime Fitness. What they do, they actually send you an SMS. So they've got a massive database of their people. They've come on board for the next 3 episodes. So Pete and Antonio, thanks for your help, mate, coming on board. It's an intriguing business. They've got people right at home for you, Tom. So South Sydney Rabbitohs are on board.
They do them, actually. So my former employer and my club, which is fantastic. And yeah, I do receive the SMSs from them, reminding me to update my details and, when there's a sale at the shop and all that sort of thing. So it's a great way to get in contact. If you have a business that needs an SMS solution or some kind of communication solution like that, I can speak from experience because it's what I do. Very important to have the right provider. So
definitely.
Agility. So EDGILITY.
Exactly. So you would have heard the ad in the intro, but look, they're fantastic people. Australian company, been around for 20 years. And I get the Maya SMS messages. So we always got our phones with us. Like I know with my kids, they'll lose a jumper or a shoe, but they'll never lose their phone. It's always glued to them. So,
well, 98% of SMSs are read within the first 3 minutes, apparently. So it's a great way to get in contact and a great way to do your marketing.
Definitely. Look, I look forward to hearing more about Agility as we go on. But look, they're a great company. Reach out to us if you want to get a hold of Pete and his team. They got Guzman and Gomez as well on there as well. So maybe
we should a burrito.
Yeah, we should get on their distribution list, wouldn't we? When they've got a sale on or two.
Wonderful, good stuff. Well, thank you to both of our sponsors. Amazing stuff. Thank you for keeping this podcast going. Now that we've paid the bills, Your Excellency. Can we call you Stavros for a start?
Yes, please do.
Thank you very much. Now, so you're actually here as part of a state visit, effectively. Can you tell us a little bit about what's the mission here, while you're in New South Wales?
This is my first state visit in Australia, in New South Wales. I will visit the Premier, the Leader of the Opposition, 5 ministers, the Speaker, and 5 ministers, state ministers. Also, there are meetings with business leaders and business community in Sydney.
I mean, the name Venizelos is synonymous with Greek politics and diplomacy and whatnot. I mean, do you have any connection to any of the Venizelos family?
No, I don't have any. Yeah, my origin is from Messenia, south of Peloponnese, but the historical Venizelos was from Crete.
Yes.
Some people say that there were connections, but still, this is not proven.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you must be proud to have a name that is, so associated with, Greek politics and
Greek
it's so
history.
entrenched.
That's true. Yes.
And an airport as well, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
There's an airport named after you.
It's a literal homecoming whenever you go home, right?
Yeah. If I was the proprietor of the airport, that would be great.
Absolutely.
Wow. So where were you born? Were you born in Messina or?
No, I was born in Athens.
Okay, yeah.
And raised in Athens.
Mm-hmm.
Studied in the University of Athens. I studied
Oh,
law.
wow. Yeah. Oh, law degree. Nice.
Yeah, in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yes.
And what about your father and your grandparents? How far back do they go from? Are they all from the Peloponnese?
My father, yes. Grandfather, also from the Peloponnese.
Mm-hmm.
I have also a root from northern Greece, from Thrace,
Ah, nice.
from my mother's
Okay.
side. Yes.
So a little bit of everywhere. That's a good.
Right.
That's quite a good mix.
Good mix. Yeah, I was going to say, because you got a bit of height. You're quite tallish. Do you play a bit of sport at all when you were younger? Were you good at basketball or football?
Basketball and football, no, but I like biking.
Ah,
Very
okay.
A lot of gym, I like that.
Very good.
Oh, there you go. And do you have a favourite football team in Greece that you want to share with us?
No, I'm agnostic mainly.
That's very diplomatic.
That is
Tom.
a good diplomatic answer.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, I can tell you that my son is Olympiacos.
There you go.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Yanni looks the other way there. I think I remember Yanni was
Nobody's
Panathinaikos.
perfect.
Yes.
No, that's good.
point.
Look, there's a lot of our supporters who are big Olympiacos fans, so they'll be cheering. So that's good to hear.
There is diversity in our family.
Yeah. Well, the other half just switched off. No, absolutely not. Well, look, how have you found your time in Australia so far? I mean, you've only been here a few
Exciting,
months.
yes. Very
Right.
nice. I enjoy it a lot. There is a lot of hard work to do, but also it's very rewarding. I like it and I want to continue.
Yeah. Have you been an ambassador for a while? Is this your first appearance, or have you
This
been?
is my first actual posting as an ambassador.
Oh, wow,
I
okay.
was deputy ambassador in Moscow.
When you started, so you got your law degree. Did you practice law? Did you go straight into?
Yes, I practiced law and I also worked as a legal translation from English to Greek, legal texts.
Mm-hmm.
After taking the decision to join the diplomatic service of Greece, I also studied in Paris.
Oh, wow.
Diplomatic history for 1 year.
Wow, Paris. That would have been great. So you lived in Paris for what? 12 months, 24
12 months, yes.
12 months.
14 months.
Okay.
Something like that,
Is there a big Greek community in Paris at all?
There is of course.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they near?
But
Because
they're not like Australia. It's different. They're more integrated in this different kind of community.
oh, really? So they're not like here, how
No.
we're so proud of our
I
heritage.
think it is the distance which plays a role and the integration between European countries, whereas Australia is on the other
Wow.
part of the world.
Did you find that surprising when you came to Australia? You found out that we're quite connected with our heritage, no matter how far back we go.
Yes, indeed. I was surprised that I saw people so close to their roots, to their traditions, to the church as well. I was impressed, I would say.
I think it was in the last 24 hours, actually, that you did meet with Archbishop Makarios as well
I
here.
did, yes. It was not the first time.
Is the connection between the Greek community and the church unique here? I mean, we've heard that anecdotally that that the church and the community here is somewhat stronger than in other areas. Is that
That's
fair
true.
to say?
This you can see it, you can feel it, and if you visit the church Sunday, you can understand that.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, in America also there is a connection between church and community, but here I believe the scale is different and the bond stronger.
Right, well, we should talk about some of the initiatives here, because obviously you're here to, sort of represent Greece's interests to Australia and vice versa. And we've met with your Australian counterpart previously on this show. So, I mean, what sort of initiatives are in place at the moment to sort of encourage Australian relations with Greece? Well, what is the relationship between Australia and Greece like currently?
On political issues, we have excellent relations. Greece and Australia share the same political system, share the same values of open society, of democracy, like Greece, and the same mentality. I admire in Australia the rule of law, the way the society is behaving. I find it very important. Also, the issue of the diaspora, the Greek diaspora, the community here, is an important bridge between the two countries. And I believe initially it was this issue, the issue of the diaspora, which was important. But through the years and through the decades, our bonds are closer and closer, much more
Definitely.
close than before.
I mean, obviously, you'll have had some dealings with. I'm assuming maybe have you already met with the Prime Minister of Australia, or
I have met, not in a socially, yes,
Socially,
I've met, yeah.
has he? I mean, he's spoken at length about the importance of the Greek community here. Obviously, because he grew up in Marrickville, which is he grew up with Greeks, literally. Did he say anything specific to you about how important the Greek community is to Australia?
Specifically to me, not, but the way he talked. I remember the day of the Anastasis, the resurrection, Easter time, in Sydney. I was there, and he addressed the people who were attending the resurrection mass at night. It was raining, and people were under umbrellas with candles, and he spoke very well about the Greek community. It was very moving.
Definitely. Yes. Yeah, I remember that clearly because I was
you were
there.
weren't you?
I was there in the crowd, and
it was a special moment, I believe.
Yeah, wow.
And I felt so proud.
Definitely, yeah. Having him there, and then he spoke, and he did say Christos Anesti and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
And I remember the candle was burning in my hand, it was melting. I'll never forget that day. Because normally, when we hold our candle, we have a little cup to hold the wax going onto your hand. But yeah,
You came unprepared.
I came unprepared this time, and one hand with the umbrella. Yeah, it was. But anyway, it was fantastic.
I was standing next to him, and yes, it was very, very a unique experience, I would say.
He's a good man. He goes for a good football team. Let's just throw that in for a quick second.
Yeah, it's fun. He supports Tom's rugby league team, the South Sydney Rabbitohs, and he goes to the games, and we call him Elbow. Everyone calls him a nickname, right. Elbow. So in Australia, everyone has a nickname, even our Prime Minister. So
he wears his Rabbitohs pin in Parliament.
Does he really?
He does. And sometimes the scarf, but anyway.
Yeah. I want to move on to tourism. So Greece, again, every Greek summer, it's a bumper year. More people are going and more numbers are going. Is there anything that you want to do or you're doing here in Australia to promote the tourism in Greece and get people over there? And more importantly, when is Aegean Airlines flying to Australia?
About the numbers, last year we had 300,000 people from Australia who visited Greece.
Wow. Unbelievable.
The revenue from tourism, Australian tourism to Greece was €500 million.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
So if you ask me if I do anything for that, no, it is done by itself. I believe that Greece is a well-known destination for the Australians as a tourist destination, and the tourist business it stands very well.
Yeah, so Greece is doing something right. We're getting so many Australians from so far away to spend €500 million.
Well, yes,
ridiculous. And I did hear a Qantas executive, might have been Jetstar, to say that they're thinking of flying a Jetstar to Athens from Australia. Yeah. And they asked her, why are you thinking to fly to Greece? I said, because everyone's going to Greece. That's all I hear everyone talk about. So let's see if that comes to fruition. But the signs are good for tourism, isn't it, Tom?
Absolutely. And I mean, we've been talking about it for years. I mean, the more opportunities there are for us to be able to fly to Greece, I mean, the more people are going to go. I mean, every year, non-Greeks in particular that we work with or that we know, that we play OzTag, touch with, soccer, whatever the case is, everyone's going to Greece.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence. How important is tourism in terms of Greece's overall strategy? And, how important is tourism overall?
It is one of the most important sectors of the economy, tourism, without any doubt. Tourism is good, of course, it is important, but our economy tries to diversify to other sectors as well. We're trying to become an energy hub, especially of green energy, and also of services. Tourism is inside services, of course.
What about food? Exporting of olives or oil, is that a big part of the Greek economy or just a minor part?
It is a traditional part, let's say.
Yeah.
But we have also pharmaceuticals.
Yes.
Our first export, Greek export now, is the pharmaceuticals.
Is that
really?
right?
We have a development of this sector the last 10 years, which is impressive.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. You heard Pfizer has built a plant in Thessaloniki. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so, yes.
Yeah.
There are many European and other companies, Swiss and Americans, who are cooperating with Greek.
I read an article that they applied for applications when they started to build the plant or whatever it is there. And I think it might have been the Prime Minister mentioned it. He goes, there was a brain drain in Greece at the time. However, nearly all the applicants were Greeks coming back.
There are more than 1,000 employees in working for Pfizer in Thessaloniki,
Wow.
in northern Greece.
Yeah, there you go. And when the applications came out, a lot of the people were Greeks, like Greeks from Germany coming back and so forth. So it's a good thing.
Well, the brain drain is an important thing. I mean, we saw during the early years of the economic crisis, between sort of 2010, I would say the height of it would have been around 2014, 15 or so. We saw so many Greeks coming here. Has it been something that you guys have actively encouraged for those people to come back to sort of bolster
I think,
Greece's
yes,
stocks?
we're trying to do that, but this will be a long process. We have very good examples. Two ministers and other people in Greek government are coming from abroad, so
All right.
we're trying to... Greece is trying, and this government to use people who are
Greek
well
heritage,
trained or specialized in different fields.
Fantastic.
It must be an exciting time though as well in Greece, because so many people, it seems to us all of the rhetoric is that people are going back and that there is investment from, the likes of Pfizer, Google, all of these places. Is it fair to say that Greece is in an exciting time at this point? Like, is Greece a good place to be doing business and doing all these types of things?
There is a development. The rate of development is very high, and is one of the highest in the European Union.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
This year, The Economist ranked us one of the most successful countries. Although there is debt, the prospects of the economy and of development are very positive. So this is a big success. This year, Germany, which was the country, the guest country in the International Fair of Thessaloniki, was the guest, and the German officials, the ministers, also acknowledge that.
So Greece is a hub, it's on the rise and people want to invest in it, and it's all positive stuff. But more, I want to bring things back closer to Australia now. So you've been in the office, 3 months?
Almost 6 months.
Oh, 6 months. So what's your biggest challenge at the moment? Can you tell us what a day in the life of a Greek ambassador in Australia is like, and what would be your biggest challenge at the moment?
My biggest challenge is that the allowances of Greek employees are low. The allowances for work abroad, especially in Australia, and so people do not apply for a job in Australia. This is felt not only in the embassy but in the consulates, as you know. We are trying to do our best to raise the allowances, and also to hire locally.
Yeah, right. Perfect. Okay.
This is one big challenge. For the rest, I believe the country is ideal, is very good from a diplomatic perspective. Canberra is a diplomatic city. It has more than 100, in fact 110 or even more, diplomatic missions. It is like a mini UN, United Nations, Canberra, from the diplomatic point of view.
Is it unique in that sort of respect? Have you experienced that anywhere else?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Did you know an SMS is read within 3 minutes of delivery, and that SMS is still the #1 business communication tool? Let Agility help you connect with your customers with a cheap and effective SMS solution. As one of Australia's top business SMS providers, Agility helps you and your business deliver your message, track campaign success, and drive customer action. Visit agility.com.au or call 1300 764 451 and chat to Peter and his team. to see how SMS can help your business. Agility, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast. There's no Ouzo Talk without a bottle of Ouzo, which is why we love the Greek Providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets to unique spirits, earthy herbs and memorable wines. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au to see their amazing range. The Greek Providor, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
There are not so many countries that they have such a strong diplomatic presence.
Very interesting.
They have regional presence or European or Euro-Atlantic, but international from all the world. It is rare.
There you go. And we've got the Hellenic Club in Canberra as well. So have you been there yet?
Yes, I have been many times to the Hellenic Club.
Yes.
Enjoying the good
friend.
food and the friendly atmosphere.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is the best thing in Canberra? But I might have given you the answer. The Hellenic Club.
It is pretty good, we have to admit.
Yeah.
And that's not a plug either.
There you go,
Also
John.
the nature. It is a city so completely. There is a stark difference between Canberra and Greek cities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you like Canberra?
I'll say I like it. Yes.
Yeah?
I like it.
Because generally Australians, we don't think too much of Canberra, I think.
Well, I have to say, my brother lived there for a couple of years, and he was not a fan. He couldn't wait to come back. But
Yeah, because we're used to beaches and all that sort of stuff. But then again, Melbournians, I get they got their beaches. I don't know. Look, it's not very
an acquired
popular,
taste.
Canberra, but it's good that you have to see it in a positive light.
Yes, I
It's good
see
to
it positively.
Yeah,
I
fantastic.
believe that the quality of life is very good in
Yes.
Canberra.
absolutely, that's one thing that has to be said. And I mean, there's great wineries around that region as well. There's
There are,
fantastic
yes.
food, and you can't hope for much more, right?
Not a lot of traffic.
Yes, true.
Have you had any discussions with Australian members of Parliament in regards to natural disasters? Because I know Athens, I feel like there's fires every year in Athens.
Yes.
And we have them in Australia often as well. Is there any collaboration with that?
Yes, there is. And the last years, Australia sent to Greece 14 helicopters and 14 airplanes for fighting the fires, and 110 personnel. So we are grateful about that to Australians and to Australia.
We're experts at bushfires. We have so many.
Well, both these countries seem to be experts in it at this stage.
Yeah, but that's good to hear. So we've sent 100 Australians over,
Yes.
and 20 aeroplanes and
yeah.
helicopters.
Maybe more than
Around
20.
20, approximate.
Around 20, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it?
It is, and for me personally, I've got a cousin in the fire service over in Greece who you've met. Actually,
I met him. That's right.
And he was
in
one of the
Corfu.
yes. So he was one of the guys fighting the fires in Corfu a couple of years ago, and he was very, very appreciative of any help that sort of came his way. I'm not sure if any Australians were on the ground there. I don't think they were at the time, but it's fantastic to hear that there is that kind of exchange between the two, especially given how logistically far the two nations are. The tyranny of distance, when it comes to things like that.
It's probably a good thing, North and South Hemisphere. It's like your turn to have fires, now it's our turn to have fires.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so... But yeah, no, fantastic. It's a good
That's a good point.
Australia is the first country in...
Is it really?
Yeah, in fire assistance.
Yeah,
in our
wow.
services. Yes.
There you go. And do you think, is it maybe worth doing a feasibility study to work out how to prevent or make these fires in summer, I guess, not as potent? Has there been discussions with that? Like maybe let's have a collaboration of how we prevent this from happening in the future?
Yeah, there is such a discussion, not on a bilateral basis with Australia, but inside Greece there is a discussion like this. Recently there was a law passed by Parliament which required the citizens who have plots of land in rural areas to clean them up,
Right.
to prevent fires. But still a lot of work should be done, I believe, and to avoid...
Yeah, because I know here in
fires.
Australia we have a lot of TV commercials, probably right about now, where they say clean your gutters out, any trees that haven't been I think chop down any or get rid of any dead wood that's been lying around in the forest, all that sort of stuff. So it adds to part of the fuel of the fire. So anyway,
we have full backburning campaigns here as well.
we do, and we smell it in winter.
We do.
Yeah, in winter we can smell the smoke, and it's called backburning, where they burn certain parts where to prevent, if that area does catch on fire, it won't be as an intense fire. We can put it out easier. Is that right, Tom?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they
I'm
do
trying to sound like
similar.
a fire expert here, but I don't know what
We're
I'm saying.
not, by any means.
We are also having signs in our roads saying don't throw bottles who can be like lenses or cigarettes.
I have seen those signs, actually,
Yes.
yeah. Very good, very good.
Yeah, good
There's
stuff.
legislation on that, of course.
I bumped into a friend of mine the other day, and he caught up with an Australian family that live in Mykonos. So they're Anglo-Australian. And he said there's a golden visa, or there's all these benefits now for Australians to live in Greece. Do you know any about these tax benefits that they're talking about?
Yes, if you make an investment of 500,000 euros or 800,000 euros in Athens and Thessaloniki, the two big cities, you can acquire a golden visa, which means you can stay in the country. You have the stay permit for 5 years.
Right.
So this is the benefit.
Okay.
And when we say an investment, does that mean that you would need
Usually buy property.
Property,
But it could be other things as well, but it is mainly property, 90%.
So property, or say like business, like an investment into a
Yes,
Greek
it
business?
could be as well. But the majority of the cases is real property.
One of the things that that is a hot topic, among the Greek Australian community is double taxation, and we've heard that there is, there are sort of moves, between there's cooperation between the Greek and Australian government to sort of streamline the way that tax happens. Like if you do have interests in Greece and here, is there any sort of update to what that entails? What's the current climate with tax? Are Greek Australians being double taxed at the moment?
When we say double taxed, we don't mean 100% in Greece, 100% in Australia. We mean that they are taxed in one country and they are taxed for some revenue in the other country. So it is like an additional tax. Yes, there are discussions the last years. There is a draft agreement which is negotiated. And I think there will be a result.
And what would be the ultimate benefit of that for a Greek Australian, for example? What would be...
He or she will pay less taxes.
You can't argue with that.
Yeah, it is something that the Greek Australian community wants.
Greece and Australia do have a very good connection in history, especially World War II. Can you discuss to us what the Greek and Australian connection is during World War II? And is there any plans that we might do something here in Australia to celebrate the second Anzac campaign, which was...
In fact, we do celebrate that here. Australia's contribution in the Second World War in Greece was a battle in Macedonia, in Veve, first battle against the Axis. And then the biggest battle, which is well known to everybody, is the Battle of Crete.
Yes.
In May. So we celebrate that. I visited Perth to mark the anniversary, where a new monument was erected for the Battle of Crete this year.
So there's a famous story of an Australian soldier from Prevelly who got hidden in the town by monks, and he ended up going back to Perth and to a town called Prevelly in Perth in Western Australia. And he set up a camping site, and he created a Orthodox church, and he dedicated it to the people in Prevelly in Crete. So it's now a suburb.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yes, this story is true and very moving.
Yeah, definitely. So, but this was in Perth, not in Prevelly.
In Perth, yes.
Okay.
And in Perth, south of Perth, if I'm not mistaken, there is a place called Prevelly as well.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, how proud does that make you to know that something like that has occurred between these two countries that are on opposite sides of the world, and there's such a strong connection between the two.
It was so moving, especially when I saw people coming to me saying that their grandfather or father fought in this battle, and they are going every year to Crete, not only for vacations, but because they feel important, that they feel this bond between Greece and Australia. And I believe this is part of the Australian psyche and forming of the Australian conscience as a nation.
Yes.
So it is something very important, and we respect that. Not only that, but we want to celebrate it every year. Every year, Chief of Staff or the Deputy Chief of Staff comes to Australia for the battle commemorations. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I asked you something similar before when it comes to, you know, how unique is that sort of relationship. But I mean, in your dealings as a consul general, you know, in other postings, have you ever encountered anything that's sort of remotely close to the kind of connection that the Australian and the Greeks sort of have? I mean, it's a very strong connection. I can't imagine that there's anything else.
New Zealanders also fought
Sure.
with Australians in Anzac. So
we count
have
them the
to,
same.
to pay respect to them as well, and other allies. But with Australia is the fact that so many Greeks migrated there after the war, which makes it unique. And the way we celebrate it today is also a source of pride and joy for me.
So are there any plans? So what would you do here in Australia? How
You
would
have asked me
celebrate?
also about Limnos.
Yes,
The Australian government
correct.
is funding a project for highlighting a trail of monuments in Limnos. In Limnos, as you might know, in the First World War, it was the headquarters of the Allied Army under the British at the time. Soldiers who were sent to Gallipoli, they were starting from Limnos, or back, there was a hospital for wounded people.
World War One, yeah.
World War One,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely.
The Gallipoli campaign during that time.
There you go, Limnians, eh?
Absolutely.
They'll be proud of that one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, among our community, we have the likes of Nick Andriatakis, obviously, who's done so much in terms of commemorating and bringing light to the Battle of Crete. We've got so many people from Limnos as well. I mean, just the other day we had DJ Crazy Con, who's from Limnos as well.
Yeah, definitely. Proud Limnian.
I mean, all of these people are telling these stories in this country, and they're incredibly proud of that heritage. So the Australian side of them, but also the Greek side of them as well. Again, this is another one of those unique things in our community that I can't think of any other place that sort of, you know, beats the drum as loudly. The Greek Australian community is very good at that, aren't they, Nick?
Definitely, they are. Look, and you know, doing our podcasting and going to functions, and that's all everyone talks about. You know, the connection of Greeks and Australians, especially World War One, World War Two. So
Last year I went for holidays in Limnos. At that time I didn't know that I would be the next ambassador of Greece to Australia.
all right.
And I was amazed to look at the monuments and the places where the Australians fought.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
Near
is
Mudros.
this your first time in Australia?
This is my first time in Australia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this is all new to you. Okay. And how do you apply to become an ambassador? Do you have to spend a couple of years doing what you're doing as a consulate general before you become an ambassador?
No, I became ambassador in. I took the promotion in 2019.
Okay,
and,
that's right. Yeah. So how did you draw the short straw to come to Australia? It sounds like you picked a good country to come to.
I applied for Australia.
Was there a lot of applicants?
No, there were not many.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Yeah.
There you go. No, we're lucky. Eh? Good place to come. What do you reckon, Tom?
Well, I mean, he's here now, so that's saying, and he's still here. That's the most important thing.
right.
And I will be here the next years.
So how many years are you? Are you
3 to
actually
4
for?
years.
3 to 4
years.
Does your family enjoy the country as well? Or?
My wife is with me, yes.
Yes.
She's enjoying the country. And my son, who studies in Canada, in Montreal, he's looking forward to coming as well.
Fantastic.
As a visitor. He will visit me during Christmas and New Year.
Do you find that Australia? I mean, a lot of people in the community say. I mean, they talk about the laid-back Australian attitude to most things. Do you find it similar to how Greeks are, or are we very different in that respect?
I think we are similar.
Yeah.
I have lived in New York, where you can feel this hectic rhythm of life. But in Australia, it is more laid back, but still very efficient and strong. Yes.
How does the embassy actually support Greek nationals living in Australia? I mean, especially in terms of, sort of cultural integration, or any legal assistance or anything like that. What do you guys actually do? Or is it purely just dealing with the high level stuff, at sort of a government level?
Well, the embassy mainly works in a government level and takes care of the bilateral relations. But we have 4 consulates as well, who are part of the same diplomatic authority and missions.
Who are excellent, we might add.
Yes, this is true. I'm very satisfied. They're very good colleagues, excellent colleagues, in 4 cities. And also we have honorary consuls in 5 cities who are Greek Australians.
Right. How rare is that to have honorary consuls in that are actually Australian citizens? Is that
yes, they are Australian citizens. It is not rare, but we don't have many countries with so many honorary consuls. This is because of the presence of Greeks in many cities around Australia. So we have in Newcastle, we have in Darwin, we have in
I think it was
Brisbane.
Was it Perth as well?
In Perth, we are having a consulate.
A consulate.
There you go. Yeah, who would have thought Darwin, eh? I think we did a whole episode on Kalimnos, and we worked out, I think it was 10% of the population in Darwin were Kalimnian.
Darwin, yes.
Yeah, it was pretty high.
Well, they rebuilt Darwin after
the cyclone. It is
a
a very active community.
Yeah.
And they have also good university, studying Greek as well.
Yeah, right.
Professors.
Well, a lot of the Greek musicians, when they come here, they do go to Darwin. Mm-hmm. They don't realize it's not a big town, but there's so many Greeks.
There's so many Greeks.
There's a big demand. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I guess the final question really is, what's your vision for the future of Greek-Australian relations? We know that they're already good, but what is your vision for how these 2 countries can collaborate and how Greek-Australians can have that relationship with Greece as well moving forward?
Yeah, as you said, I agree. Our relations are excellent. What we could do more is increase our bilateral trade. There are opportunities for that. Our cooperation in technology, Greece has good minds in computers, in artificial intelligence, in many high-tech fields. So we can do that. And finally, it is our political cooperation.
Yes.
I believe that the Greek and the Australian politicians, government officials, should exchange visits. This is important to make the ties stronger between the 2 nations and countries. There are imports and exports as well. The numbers are not very high, but we have surplus. Greece has a surplus, the bilateral trade volume.
Yeah.
We also have services, tourism, and also other services like banking. And
there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, the important thing to mention is that this is a country.
1.2 billion.
Is that right?
Yes.
1.2 billion.
Yes, in services.
I mean, the important thing to note here is that we hear so many things about Greece having amazing doctors, great pilots, great innovators, great entrepreneurs. This is a country that is on the up by all accounts, and I mean we're just so proud to be able to be talking about it now. And again, since the rhetoric has sort of changed over the years, and to see the country be so much more successful over the last few years, it's such a turnaround, isn't it, Nick?
Well, yeah, I think it was only, when was the crisis? 2006? It's only taken, 15
years? 2009 through to, I don't know where
2000 to 2010 almost.
Yeah, so we're talking...
For 10 years, for a decade.
There you go. And 14 years, we've changed it around to win... I think you said, The Economist said it was the best economy in Europe or in the world at that time. And all the articles we read in the paper, it's tourism going through the roof. It's like it's the coolest thing on the planet.
So we proved that crisis can be a stepping stone to go further and develop.
By no means are we saying it's perfect, but I mean, it definitely is on the rise. And and again, I mean, as Greek Australians, we're just so proud to be able to see that, number one, to be able to go back and enjoy, the fruits and be able to invest, whether it's in property or whatever the case is. There's so many of our listeners who have told us that that's what they're doing. Your Excellency, we're so proud to have had you here and to be able to...
Thank you very much. It was great.
To discuss these things.
Discuss with you.
Nick,
Definitely.
Any final words, mate?
No, look, I think you just summed it up. How good is the relations we've got with Greece? It's only going to get better. I think we've got a foot in both camps, so I think we're both happy with the status of both countries. So look, it's all good for us. No complaints from here.
And very proud to have such great representatives from from Greece as well. So, Your Excellency, thank you so much for being on Ouzo Talk. We hope to see you again soon to talk about even more amazing things in the future.
Thank you. Sure, I will do it again.
Thank you. Thanks for an amazing job already, mate, but you've only just started, so...
That's right. More to come.
More to come. Good stuff, Tom.
ouzotalk@outlook.com is the email. Follow us on social media @ouzotalk and @ouzo_talk and on YouTube. Nick Athanasiou, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Ακολουθήστε μας στο Soundees, στο Spotify, στο Apple Podcasts και στο Google Podcasts.